course, myself, Max, Cuzzo Dave,
That's me.
producer Sean.
What up?
But we have a new face to introduce. Do it, producer.
What's going on, guys? This is James.
All right, co-produce, and then we are joined by the one and only Beast Boy, Michael Davis. It's a pleasure to have you on.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, man. So, obviously, there's a lot to talk about. But first, I'm digging the hat. We talked about it. I'm digging that hat. And that's how you came into the weigh-ins with Rick and Morty. I'm digging the hat. So, is that your thing going forward?
No.
No, that's not. That's just a one-time thing.
It's like, we'll see him versus Connor. Connor be dressed, the fur gooch.
I know you got that Rick and Morty going.
Hey, I like it. I dig it. I dig it.
It's different. It gives you style.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I dig it. So,
I love cartoons, so I'm always going to be wearing something cartoon related. I'll come in wearing a Batman cape if I have to.
okay, so
Ooh, I like that.
So in the future, as you of course have fights to progress, fight by fight, it'll be a different character every time, huh?
I could do that. Yeah.
This is breaking. This is breaking
I
news.
like this. We got Flash. We got Batman.
Right.
We got Gambit.
My next one, as long as it's close, I'm probably going to stick to Black Panther.
That movie's coming out too.
represent.
That movie's coming out.
Yeah, we got, what, 3 days?
Yeah, did you hear the soundtrack
Yeah.
with Kendrick Lamar? It's good.
I downloaded the whole album.
Yeah, it's good. I'm listening in my car. I'm like, I haven't even seen the movie yet, but I feel like I can visualize it.
No, the movie's gonna be real good. I'm calling it right now. Like, I think it's gonna be surprisingly good.
Marvel's always great.
Yeah.
They always are great. But let's talk about what everyone wants to hear. So obviously you had a tremendous performance on Island Fights.
Island Fights 46 last week. Pensacola was Roy Jones's last fight, and it was not Mike's first fight, of course, but it was that breakthrough, crazy performance. Finally through the door, UFC. Let's go. Like, let's get it.
So first off, congratulations on your win. Have you had time to sit back and take it all in? Have you even rewatched? Have you watched your performance?
I only found one video of it. I finally signed up for UFC Fight Pass myself. Just
7-day free
rewatch it.
trial.
Yeah. I signed up so I could watch it, and I was amazed at my own performance. And that was weird. I was like, I didn't know that I could perform at that technical sound of a level. And I feel like I'm ready now. Now that I see that, I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah, you have really high expectations for yourself. I remember we did the live event with you at Pete White's Boxing MMA gym, and just the way you talked about your game, you had a high expectations for yourself. So you did live up to your expectations going into that fight.
Yes.
You killed him. And let's not sugarcoat things. You killed the guy. So you went in and you
Especially
hurt him.
his tooth.
Yeah, I'm like, no disrespect to the guy, but we're being honest. You destroyed the guy.
Montrell James.
Yeah, you walked right through him. His name is now Michael Davis. That's that guy's name is. So you walked right through him. Did you mean, was it your game plan to take him down, or was it just a part of instincts?
Honestly, it just goes based on instincts. When I get in the ring, it's just whatever is in front of me is in front of me, and it just flows. And I don't think about anything. I see pockets, and I just attack them. That's how I've always been.
That body shot hurt me. Watching it, I'm serious. I saw it. Him, he crumbled a little bit. And there's nothing you can do when you get hit with something that clean.
Initially, when the fight started, I threw those 2 double jabs to see how he would react. When I threw the first one, his hands went up, way up, and that's how I knew that I could hit his body the next one. So he threw his little leg kick to tap his reach. When he can reach me, I can reach him. So I went forward, and I ripped the body. I faked a jab, ripped the body.
Yeah, he had range on you. He had some length. He was tall.
But he only had 2 inches of reach on me.
Yeah, not that much reach.
I have a long reach, 74-inch.
They listed you at 6 foot too.
I'm 6 foot.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm 6 feet tall.
Holy crap! I feel like I don't know how tall I am now. Then I feel like I'm a pretty tall person, but I just didn't. Wow. So 74 inches. Is that the average reach for the weight class you're competing
I
at?
have I'm probably not even close to that. 145ers are normally smaller than I
Yeah,
am.
that's what I'm about to say.
I think definitely your reach is further for sure.
I feel like the average would probably be 68, 70.
Yeah, I'm about to say. So now you have a huge advantage going forward in that weight class. If you.
That's why they want me to stay at 45 because 1, I can make the weight, and 2, as long as I can keep doing it, I'm untouchable. Literally, I'm just untouchable. I'm the Hulk of 45.
So now we're Marvel. Okay, so going forward, so is that the weight class you intend to compete at?
Yes,
It's where you feel most comfortable. You can do the most damage. 145.
most definitely. Just like Conor McGregor said that when he fought at 45, and then he would rehydrate, and he would go and fight, and he would just see the 45ers crumble under the power he has. But when he went up a weight class and fought at 170, and he threw the same punches, he didn't see them crumble. They took way more force than the smaller guys. So that's why he did so well at 45.
And could I argue that's why his conditioning wasn't as good? Because like when you're trying to fight at 170, he was trying to maintain that weight to go against a big welterweight almost. And Nate Diaz, and by the way, has a tremendous chin. That wasn't a great welterweight to go against. But the fact that he couldn't burn as much, I feel like he couldn't do as much conditioning because when you do a lot of conditioning, you tend to lose some weight. So I felt like maybe he cut back on his conditioning to stay at that weight.
That's how I felt during this camp. The only thing is that you just got to up your intake on your food.
Fit meals, right?
Yeah, fit meals all day.
That's awesome.
Talking about 145, do you think Connor's the greatest 145er of all time?
Oh, sparking the debate already?
Yeah, we're getting into it,
That's
right?
soon. I don't even like Conor McGregor.
Oh, man.
Okay,
Okay, well, here's your
possible
chance.
fight.
You-
Yeah.
you watch this podcast, so if you got something to say to Connor, let him know.
If you ever decide to come back, I'm willing to fight you.
Hey,
I just want the exposure. I'll do it for free.
Connor's honestly my favorite fighter, but that was before you. And going forward, you're honestly my favorite fighter. And I think watching you fight, it was so cool to see you didn't do any feeling out process. Like you said you kind of did, where he's like, let me see what happens when I throw this jab. But you just walk right through him. It almost had like a Khabib effect.
That's it. Well, I want to compete at the UFC level, so in order to do so, I have to analyze and know my situation immediately. I can't wait. I can't wait time or waste time and think too much. So
Mhm.
it has to be split. It has to be first thought, first go, chest 3 steps ahead. So that jab opened up the 3 things I wanted to do. Just get closer.
Exactly, chess match. How did it feel having Roy Jones in the locker room? Like, just, you're on the fight card, the legend. It was his last fight. How did that play in your mindset?
I don't know. I feel like when I first met Roy Jones, he really took a custom to me. He started to like me, and we had good conversations, and he has good things to say about me. So for him to be the person, the legend that he is, and to give good feedback on me is just fantastic. And then to be at his last event that he's ever going to fight, that's an honor. It really is. It's a blessing.
How do you think he looked? 49, main event,
For a 50-year-old man.
right? I thought he looked awesome.
He's fast as crap still. He's fast as crap.
That no-look punch.
He had fun. And
Yeah.
I saw him having fun. He was smiling, he was laughing.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Very cool.
And if I'm correct, that was UFC's first, especially on UFC Fight Pass, their first ever boxing and MMA combined, right?
Yeah.
Ever on UFC Fight Pass. So that's another historic landmark that you took place in. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's true, yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's never been done before until now.
Beast Boy's making history.
Yeah, and I go on MMA websites like every day just to see like recent news, injuries, whatever that may be. And they mention you too. They were like Michael Beast Boy Davis knockout. It was on BloodyElbow.com, and they talked about your win first round. I'm like, that's our guy right there. That's our guy.
Well, you know me with NASCAR, and of course it's race week here.
Mm-hmm.
My guy was Jeff Gordon. His very first NASCAR race was in Richard Petty's last NASCAR race. So that's something, you know, you got a legend going out, and you got maybe a new
So
one coming
Beast
up.
Boy's Jeff Gordon of
Yeah.
But on the real, what's next for you?
The UFC, that's been my dream, my goal. So
And is it? I don't know if what you're allowed to say and what you're not, but is it official? You're in the UFC. I'll put you in the hot seat.
I got calls. I've been offered fights. I just gotta wait, I guess.
Yeah.
I let Pete handle all that stuff. So he'll call me or he'll text me one day and be like, Mike, get ready. And then I'll know what it's for.
That's awesome.
Pete White, Port Orange, Florida.
Yeah, that's
Gotta
awesome.
check out that gym.
Yeah, he was coaching his butt off too. It's so cool just seeing you walk out. That picture was so sick, by the way, when your hands were up. I'm like, oh my gosh, did you know you were gonna do that going out? Because I'm like, that was the perfect picture.
I was like, Pete, I'm gonna go out, and because there's a lot of people, I'm just gonna hold my arms out. You take a picture, walk behind me. I'm gonna stop for a second. All right, I know what you mean. I'll do it.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah.
I had just like the whole crowd, the ring, and then you have an M tattoo on the back.
The Majin Buu symbol.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's from Dragon Ball Z. Another one.
This man.
I love it.
That's awesome. So you're willing to take 145s where you feel most comfortable. If the
Yeah.
UFC calls you and say, "Hey, we need you to fight 155, maybe 170," you're willing to do whatever.
I want to. Yeah. I just want to. I want to get in the door. That's pretty much what it takes. Take a last minute fight, show up, show out. I'll get it done. It doesn't matter what weight I fight at.
Yeah.
That's what Chris Weidman did the weekend before.
Oh, he was the replacement.
Oh,
right?
yeah, came in. He had like 3 days notice and came in, showed up, and then the rest was history.
Do you feel that right now, obviously your focus is just getting the UFC, get your foot in the door, and then build from there? But do you honestly feel Michael Davis right now could compete with the elite top tier UFC fighters?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I watch their fights all the time, and I see openings, I see flaws. It's not like I'm studying, but it's just that I see it because I'm in the same sport. So I'm watching and I see it, and I want to capitalize on it myself. So I know that I can beat them.
So you're looking at it. We saw you when we were watching the fights. I think it was Cyborg.
Alehouse.
Versus Holmes.
Yeah.
And we
Cyborg
saw you.
Holmes.
So it's almost like we're watching the same fight, but we're watching it through a different lens. Almost.
Yeah.
That's intense.
I'm watching it like these are people that are where I want to be. So in order to be there, I gotta see what I can do to be there. I gotta be able to beat these people.
Is there anyone in the 145 division now that you like their style, you like their action? Like, wow, that's a fight. Me versus him. That's something
I
we
like
get
Max
into.
Holloway.
Yeah.
I've always liked Max.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
He did lose a little bit of his style. He fought that other dude. I don't even remember his name, but both of them were throwing spinning kicks, like crescent kicks, rolling kicks, everything. And that was like the best fight. I loved watching all the fluidity and movement of the body.
Yeah.
But then he slowed down. He started getting more technical.
Yeah, he's a lot more technical. I think what he did to Jose Aldo was amazing. The way he just kept peppering him and pressuring him. He can fight, he can box with you, he can throw kicks, he can wrestle, he can do jiu-jitsu. It's incredible. We had this argument with John, actually. I think Conor is like the best talent at 145 when he did compete. But I see him as a lightweight now. So my argument is Max Holloway is the best featherweight of all time. And that's no disrespect to Aldo, but what he did to Aldo both times, how do you not make him the best of all time?
Connor's the best featherweight of all time.
But I said he's the best talent, but I don't think he's done enough for that weight class.
He ran through Max. He ran through Aldo to win the title. How can you think one of those two guys is better than Conor?
Well, that Holloway fight in his defense, and Holloway's defense was early in their career, and I'm not taking that away from Conor. But my point being, if to be the best at a certain weight class, you have to at least defend the belt,
Correct.
right? Like that's why I think he's the best talent, but I don't think he's the
I
best.
don't think he's ever defended the belt.
No, he hasn't.
Not the featherweight.
Not once.
Yeah,
Or lightweight.
No, he just got him and left.
He just did what a boss does. He did what a boss does.
That's crazy.
Do you think Mayweather fights him in the UFC?
I hope he doesn't. That's just dumb.
I would love to see it. I would.
I mean, Mayweather has money, so he could spend 12 hours a day learning, but
It doesn't
it's
matter.
a different world.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Two different sports. He would get destroyed by Conor in the octagon. Any UFC fighter on contract would beat Floyd Money Mayweather in a UFC fight.
I honestly, CM Punk would beat Floyd Mayweather.
Nah.
I'm telling
No,
you.
CM Punk's way bigger also, though. He fights at like 180.
He's
But, I mean,
small.
Demetrius Johnson was like, I'll fight you, but I can't use my legs or something like that. It was something crazy. But,
Mighty Mouse?
yeah.
Mighty Mouse would outbox Mayweather.
Oh,
He would
destroy
run
him.
angles around.
In the octagon, yeah.
yeah.
In the octagon.
Yeah, just destroy him.
So is there somebody that you, obviously when you're watching these fights, you're watching it through a different lens. Is there somebody that you try to mimic? You just take things from different fighters? Or you just be
It's
Michael
everybody.
Davis? Yeah.
Everybody. Donald Cerrone I used to take a lot from because he had the best striking for a while. And Anderson Silva's head movement.
Oh, DeForest Griffin?
before he got hurt and changed his whole approach, he 100% had just the best movement in the UFC. That's what made him great.
Where does he rank on your all-time pound for pound?
He's up there. I'll consider him my top 10.
Be careful, because Coach John's listening to you. That's his guy. That's his guy. He'll listen to this.
I don't know. Anderson Silva and John. I take a lot from John Jones.
He's the best inside the octagon.
A lot of his stuff. I have mimicked and worked on in the gym. I've never used it. Never had a chance to, but
You may.
I may.
You may. And going forward, I want to get this. I want your opinion on it because this is 155. So it's a weight class that you obviously know a lot about. Khabib or Tony, who wins?
UFC 223.
Yeah, we had this
April
huge
7th.
debate, and it was almost like 20 minutes worth this debate.
I think Khabib wins.
That's my man.
I
Beast
have-
Boys
I have
in the
Khabib.
house.
Yeah.
I have Tony winning. Why do you have? What makes you say Khabib?
Khabib. all he's ever wanted was to be a UFC champion. He has been denied it for so long that I believe when he finally gets his chance, he's not going to let it go.
He's kind of like the uncrowned champ right now. He
Well, he
really
didn't make
is.
weight. It's
He's
not necessarily-
undefeated. No, a couple times there's been injuries on his part. Sometimes there's been injuries on the other part. He's undefeated. He walks through people. He just has a style that's, unmatched right now in that weight class until,
What?
Mike gets in there.
What he did to Edson Barboza.
Oh my gosh.
It was nasty, and what I told
Oh
him
my
is
gosh.
I'm not taking anything away from what he's done. Like I think he has the best wrestling in MMA. Him or Daniel Cormier.
That's not even it, but he outstruck Edson Barboza.
Okay, let me get into detail of this. Okay, so here's the debate.
Get him, Mike.
Okay,
Get
so
him.
his wrestling is superb, and his ground and pound I think is the best of all time. Like what he does is just like he'll hold your neck and just punch your arm just to punch you. It's weird, but the way his striking is, I don't think he outstruck him. I think his striking is okay, but I think it gets what's the word for it? He covers it up because how well his wrestling is. People are paranoid to get taken down, so they don't feel comfortable to strike with him. But I feel like once somebody can really stop that takedown, I feel like he'll almost get exploited. Like I don't think we've seen enough Khabib well-rounded or him tested. Like it's so easy to say this guy's amazing when he's ground and pounding everybody, but what happens when he gets stuffed? Like can you depend on him to win by a knockout on the feet? I just think if somebody can do that, it may change our whole perspective on him. Because it's easy to jump on the bandwagon, and I understand he's great, but I think Tony Ferguson, by the way, is great off his back. The jiu-jitsu black belt from Eddie Bravo. I think they were like, I'll be happy if he takes me down, which I'm not. But my prediction is Tony Ferguson wins 4th round, like TKO. Am I crazy?
No, it's a possibility.
It's possible, right?
I'll never say nothing's possible in the UFC.
No, that's for sure, and especially, guys, Tony Ferguson's a legit, he's a champion, he's defended it. There's, I'm not saying Tony's awesome. He's one of the best there is in the weight class, but I just think Khabib is right now the best in the weight class. And I just think you don't give Khabib enough credit for his striking.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I'm a little of a hater of his striking. I'll be real. I think he gets exposed a lot. And the one time someone cracked him, he got rocked, and that was Michael Johnson. Like if Mike Davis hits him with that left hook, he may be put to sleep. And I'm not just saying that because you're here, but I'm serious. But he hasn't been hit. How can I say his striking is amazing if he's never been tested?
I do agree with you if Mike Davis does get to the ribs. I do agree. Mike puts him to sleep. I'm giving him that. I'm not going against him.
So if you're Tony Ferguson, you're in this corner. How do you fight Khabib? That's tough.
He's gonna take you down. He's guaranteed. It's almost guaranteed in an MMA fight. If you hit, even if he doesn't try to take you down, and you strike with him, you hit him one good time, he gets close enough to you, he's gonna grab you. That's just how he fights. It's kind of like the same as me. If you get in my space, you're going on the floor. That's just how it is. If I came into your space, you're fine to stay on the feet. But if you come into my space, I'm putting you on the floor. And that's how Khabib is.
So what? So that's how you are. You immediately take the person down.
Not all the time, but if I'm coming towards you, I'll stay on my feet because I'm the one that's aggressive. If you become the aggressor and you start coming into my face, then it's either defend, take down, or move.
So you're setting the tone. You're deciding where the fight goes.
Exactly. Just because you're the aggressor doesn't mean I lost my pace.
No, that makes sense. That's exactly what you did.
That's how I see Khabib.
I love that.
No, okay.
I
Look at
do
it
like
from that
that.
perspective.
Yeah.
I do like that perspective.
I like that.
I do. I like that perspective.
So-
And that's what you did in your fight.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you were going forward, as soon as he started trying to throw a little bit, you just slammed him.
He came right back at me. Once I threw that knee, I felt his force grab me. And I was like, okay, now he wants to clinch, so I just dumped him.
And you threw him hard. Like
That's an Ashiwawa in judo, just for those who don't know.
Ashiwawa
Yeah.
in judo.
That's an Ashiwawa.
Andy
It's a
Rosen
leg
style.
choke. Or it's a leg choke.
So you're very comfortable going on the ground with anybody? Because that's what we hear. Coach John was praising you about it. He's like, you
Loves
can
your ground
roll
game.
with jiu-jitsu black belts, box with boxers, kickbox with kickboxers. You can do it all. So would you feel you're most comfortable at the ground, or it's just everywhere you just feel comfortable the fight goes?
I'd rather just comfortable. Because it's true. I grapple with black belts all the time. Sometimes it's a little more difficult with the heavier guys, but
Yeah.
black belts. There's at Fusion. I train Saturday. We spar, and there's almost like 4, 5, 6 black belts sometimes. And I'm rolling with all of them, grappling, sparring with all of them. And yeah, they're good. I handle myself. Jacare, I handle myself. Julian, He's another species.
Yeah.
But I'm
Jacque's
working on
big
him.
too.
He
Jacque's
is
a
big,
big
yeah.
middleweight.
He's got to be pushing 200, right?
Yo, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big dude, and when he gets a hold of you,
210.
and you're rolling with him,
Yeah.
you're 150, you're 145, 155, and you're rolling with 200.
Yeah. 145.
That's just
155,
crazy.
I roll
That's
and,
next
and
level.
handle myself against the bigger 200 people.
So then, once you get a hold of somebody that's
My
145, it's over.
This is over. You're not moving. I'm gonna do what they do to me to you.
This is why we're in the studio,
I know.
and we'll let them do the fighting.
I know. I was actually at Pete White's gym Wednesday in the ring, but it was with my 5-year-old son Colin. He was kind of kicking John around, so I was like, I'll let Colin do that work, not me.
When I used to train, I remember there was a jiu-jitsu black belt who came in, and he was from Brazil, and I've never actually seen the black belt at the time because I didn't do gi, I did no gi. And I was like, okay, let's just see what this does. And he literally he rolled with every single person in the gym and just beat the crap out of them. So when people say jiu-jitsu black belt, I feel like that's almost taken for granted, but it's elite.
Yeah.
That's
It's
crazy.
elite, and it's like 10 years of training. I think it's a minimum of 10 years, 2 years per belt to get your black belt.
Now, do
That's
you
how I
personally try to move up the ranks with the
Yeah.
belts, or you just focus on your camp?
No, I try to move up the ranks in my belt. I want to become a black belt. I got a black belt tattooed on my leg, and it's been a goal since Patrick Pitbull gave me his black belt when I met him.
Wow.
It is legit. I still have it in my room.
Holy crap. So
That's
wait,
awesome.
what belt are you at right now?
I purple belt.
Purple?
Yeah.
Wow.
Real quick, Mike, throw out some sponsors, throw out some, people, your Facebook page, all that stuff. There's
Well, my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is all Mike Davis MMA. Give it a follow. I'll post a lot of stuff on there. Most of it's fighting stuff, so you'll get some enjoyment, some knockouts, some movement. Shout out to Fit Meals for helping me make weight all the time. Elite Spine for keeping me really without Elite Spine.
making you look like a
sore.
superhero with
Yeah.
those leg things.
What does that do, by the way? Do you know?
It's like compressed air. It kind of cuts off my circulation and then rushes blood.
Good, healthy blood to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because I've seen like a lot of athletes do it, basketball players, but I never knew what it actually does.
It's just pretty much.
It helps you with recovery time.
Yeah.
It
Do you
gets,
feel a big difference afterwards also?
Yeah, I feel really light.
Oh, wow. How do you know this?
I'm locked in. I'm locked in. What do you mean? That's what I do.
Oh yeah, New Smyrna Spine, Donnie, great guy. If you ever need a chiropractor, he's in New Smyrna, Causeway. He's the best chiropractor. The Anti-Aging and Regenerative Associates, right here on Dunlon.
Mm-hmm.
Great people.
Team Fake Gear?
Team Faker.
Yep.
They're my newest sponsor, and I had the pleasure of spending the week with them up in Pensacola. Every one of them is great. They're funny, great personalities. They're a lot different than you'd think.
Really?
Yeah, but it's a good way.
Yeah.
It's a good way.
That's awesome.
They got me a Dragon Ball Z shirt, so I definitely appreciate it.
They're in with me then. They're good
Okay,
guys.
so you're a fan of all these characters. You're a fan of Marvel, DC. Who's your favorite? You're wearing Rick and Morty, so am I right to say that?
Rick and Morty is my favorite cartoon.
Okay, who's your favorite character?
My favorite character.
I feel like your UFC debut, you gotta just dye your hair a certain color.
That's too much.
No?
That is too much. I have too many. I don't have a favorite single-wise character.
So are you beginning training camp though? As like, are you about to jump into another one, or are you just
When we
refining
got
your
back
skills?
on Friday,
Mhm.
we drove that 7-hour trip back Friday, and I immediately went to the gym. I was back in.
You look
Saturday,
fresh.
Yesterday I went back and sparred a fusion again. I'm
So
back.
you're back in.
Yeah, I'm already back on the training course.
So how does that Orlando card sound?
Sounds pretty good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
That's February 24th.
You're going, right?
That's 2 weeks. I
already got
That's
tickets.
perfect.
That's 2 weeks,
That's 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's prime.
and that's
So-
good.
I just need to get my cardio back. I did have my couple cheat days, so my body's a little slow from the junk, but I just got to push it out and I'm good.
How big is like strength and conditioning? Like, is that something you personally work on every day? Because I know some camps are different. I listen to all these podcasts, and some are like skills is most important, and then you just work that in. But to you, is that something you focus on and make that a essential part of your training?
Strength? No.
Strength,
It's
but
weird. But some people love strength and conditioning. Some people need it. I don't need strength. I work mostly conditioning. And during my fight camp for the last 2, maybe sometimes 3 weeks, it depends on how much I have to work. But I'll put in 26 to 30 something miles a day, per day, every day, leading up to my camp.
John said you'd run like a marathon a day.
Yeah,
We made a
every
joke
single day.
about it because they convinced me to get a Facebook because I obviously need a Facebook. And I was like, I didn't know if I kept seeing the same post popped up of you
No.
checking into a gym. I'm like, it's like every time I go in, you're checking into some different type of gym, and it's just
I
incredible.
was working cardio, and when it comes to strength, it's more resistance training where I'll put like the maximum amount of weight that my body can handle onto a machine, and I'll try to move it. I definitely can't move it, obviously, but I will try my hardest for a good 30 seconds. I will just continuously try to move that weight.
And what does that do?
It's just a different way of building strength. I don't need to grow, I just need strength. And a lot of people lift to grow. They lift
For the look.
repetitions. Yeah, for the look. I just
Like
wanna-
myself. That's
I
what
want to
do.
be able to, if a 200-pound person is every day gets on top of me, I want to be able to move him. I don't need to lift him. I just want to move him.
And you think that could play a part in your success in a heavier division if you had to, such as 170?
Correct.
Man, oh man.
It's different.
That's scary. That's scary. It's just, Jacare, he recently just had a big win too, right?
Yeah.
That head
UFC
kick?
Charlotte.
What's next for him, do you know?
I have no idea.
He has to be in that title contention now that Rockhold just lost. I had Rockhold winning too.
I think he lost decision to Yoel. So whatever, I think he should get a rematch with Yoel.
That'd be a sick fight.
I
That's a
think
good fight.
the next fight is booked for
Yeah.
Whitaker and Romero. And I
Yeah.
guess he'll be next in line.
Correct. I feel like he deserves to get up there. If not Yoel, then Rockhold.
I was disappointed. I wasn't able to see the whole fight, but I had Rockhold winning that fight. But Romero always has that just freakish ability to finish you. Like when he fought Weidman was beating him all the way until the third round, and then just a flying knee comes out of nowhere and he gets knocked out.
I was talking to people that were watching the fights with me, my roommates, and I said, just watch him because he starts slow. Yoel starts
Yes,
really
yeah.
slow. Each round he gets faster and faster. It's weird.
And he's 40 years old.
Yeah.
And like that's not right.
I know, yeah. It's
He doesn't look like he's 40 at all. Like Randy Couture, you could tell was 40,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
he's doing amazing things. Like he looks like he's 26.
Yeah.
I mean, get
He's
rid
in
of the
better
fake
shape
one.
than most of the 26-year-olds.
He's like a science experiment. He's swole as crap. he's huge, and he's not on steroids, obviously, because with the new testing and everything. But
he did get popped like 2 years ago. Just throwing that out there.
yeah, but 2 years ago, he doesn't look any different. Like Vitor Belfort looked like
Yeah.
like his neck had muscles.
He looked like the
and then he
Incredible
went
Hulk
saggy.
that he looked like.
Yeah.
Alistair Overeem. When
No,
he got
yeah.
off, when he got off his shirt.
Do you remember he used to be in light heavyweight weight class? Because he fought Chuck Liddell in Pride.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like years went by and I didn't watch Pride as much. And then I see him like make his debut in K1 and UFC, and I'm like, he's bigger than Brock Lesnar. How do you put on 60 pounds? That's just ridiculous to me.
PEDs.
No way to get it off now.
Yeah, that's true. Now, what's the other big fight I want? Oh, the DC and Stipe. Who do you have winning that one?
We're putting Stipe against DC.
DC?
Yeah.
Okay, we were
Me
all
and Mike
DC
really
too.
do too. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, what
I'm
did
big DC.
John had?
No, I think he had. No, he's got Stipic. He loves him. He loves the firefighter, and he's just that
Yeah.
that everyday man, blue collar.
That's how it works. That's how it works. So you're ready to fight. You're ready to go. You're in training camp. Is there anything you want to say to anyone listening? Dana White could be watching this. To anybody.
Ariel Helwani.
Oh yeah, he mentioned you, by the way.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're like, well, Ariel Helwani, we're good friends with him, but but yeah, definitely shout out anybody that
The
you
only
want
thing
to.
I want to say is that I've proven my point now. I've gone 22 fights. I've never lost. And my last 3 fights were just domination. Just all 3. So I just want, I want my shot. That's it. I deserve it.
You do deserve it,
For
especially
sure.
after that
For sure.
performance. I don't know what else you could do, and I've never seen. Like you literally walked through him, and I'm not exaggerating.
My techniques just got better and better. My last fight, I noticed a couple things, and then when I saw him at weigh-ins, I was like, "Wow, this is the exact same kid as the last one I fought. They look the same.
They really did.
They look the same.
Lengthy.
Body length, lengthwise, he's just 10 pounds heavier. And it's like, I'm going to walk through him. I'm going to do the things that I didn't do with him to this kid.
So has anybody presented you problems? Like, there's a certain, like, body frame, maybe there's a certain style of wrestler or a Muay Thai fighter, nothing?
There's an O at the end of his record,
I
Max. There's
don't-
no problems over there.
Like Connor, you know what bothers him is somebody who won't get knocked out. Nate Diaz, someone that's bigger than him
Yeah.
with reach. It's like everybody
Well,
has
He-Man
something.
for that, for reach. He-Man has an 88-inch reach. Yeah. He-Man has reach.
Wait.
88.
John Jones has the record, I think, with 82 inches in the UFC.
I'm
He
pretty
has
sure.
88?
I'm pretty sure they said he has 88. He-Man
Mr.
has 88.
Fantastic
Wow.
over there at the
By the
gym.
way, he fights next Saturday night
Yeah.
at Put Down
He's
Orlando
undefeated,
Live
right?
He's
Events.
undefeated.
5-0-1. He's got that draw up in Philly.
And he's pure boxing, right?
He is just a boxer.
Yeah.
So I've been working with his range, and coming in someone anything under 80 is nothing. It's just nothing to me.
So that's what we were talking about. And Pete's gym seems like you guys really are the. I always say it on the comments, dream team. It's because you have yourself. The sky's the limit. Taylor, like, what could you say about Taylor's game? What do you have any predictions for Taylor? Because we've been waiting to see her fight, but opponents keep backing out. But we know how
She's
hard she
fighting-
works.
She's fighting this weekend.
This weekend.
This coming weekend, yeah. She's gonna come out striking. She's obviously a striker.
Really?
Taylor's a striker, and she hits hard. But he's gonna clip this girl. This girl's gonna realize that she can't stand up anymore. She's gonna shoot in. Everybody has Mitchell, me, Anderson. We've all worked with Taylor's ground game, and it's become a threat. It's legitimately a threat.
So do you see her really just catapulting up the ranks really
Yeah.
quickly?
Yeah, there's not many people her size that are lasting this year.
Oh man! See, so yourself, Taylor,
Got
and then
Ando.
Chris.
Got
We had
Ando.
we had the pleasure of commentating Chris's fight, and he does MMA and boxing, and that's something
Yeah.
you do as well, right? Well, you did,
I still
and
want to.
really.
Yeah, I want a boxing match, but it's just so hard to get one after that last fight.
So do you? So if you're in the UFC, are you technically allowed to still do that? Because I know Dana White's testing that boxing promotion.
Dana White, yeah, he's trying to open his own boxing promotion, like a UFC boxing promotion.
Would that be something you'd be interested
Oh,
in?
I'm gonna climb the ranks in that. I'm gonna go all the
Holy
way.
crap!
You got Beast Boy co-champion,
So,
145.
My original goal, the
UFC.
goal that I told Pete when I met him was that I wanted to be a world champion in not just MMA but also in boxing simultaneously. And be the first person ever.
That's never been done.
No, I said I still want to do it. I still have time and I still have a chance. I just got into one organization to do it, and now I just need boxing.
Do you enjoy one over the other?
Boxing is way easier than MMA.
Yeah, you only have one component to really
Wow.
worry about, right?
That's it. Just hands and head. That's it.
It's just the politics behind it's a lot harder to find fights, and
I think so.
it's
Boxing
just different.
is way more political, way more protect this guy's record. Give him this 5-80 person, and just
we were watching when Lomachenko was on the fight card, and we saw it was like literally every single fighter on the card was undefeated. I'm like, who are they fighting?
Yeah,
Like, how many
it's-
people do you have for everyone to be undefeated?
I don't understand it.
Yeah, like the MMA is really not record now. Like if you're dude, Max Holloway, all those top tier guys, most of them have 2, 3, 1 losses. It doesn't matter. In the boxing game, you have to be 36-0 to get a big time heavyweight fight. You have to. It's like crazy. It's just different.
I think if Dana White does that, because when you think of boxing, who do you think of? Like, you don't really have a
Leo
main,
Cruz.
yeah, but you don't have like a main promotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like MMA, you know it's UFC. So I feel like if Dana can do that with boxing, maybe boxing will be back on the rise again, and
Yes.
that's something that
Oh,
could obviously
sure.
benefit you.
I couldn't think of any boxing organization.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's just a lot of politics. And now lastly, we have Superman Hutchinson. He's up next, right, Ando?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So what's going on with him? Does he have anything going on, or he's helping you train right
He's
now?
having the same issue getting someone just lock in the fight, or getting someone in his weight class to just want to fight.
Yeah.
He's just he's waiting. I mean, he's getting ready. He's lost his weight. He's back in shape. He's keeping up. He's doing it all again. So
I know you won't tell me this, but the sparring matches between you and Ando, you and Chris, are those just the best? I know it's
Yeah.
behind closed doors, but those must, like, I would pay to watch that.
and it's fun. And it's definitely
You
fun.
guys compete for sure and kind of like, oh, I'm up one on you kind of thing? Because like I know if you play one-on-one with your friend, you're like, yeah, I beat you last time, or you beat me last time. Is that something you guys do?
No.
No.
I never thought of it like that.
Oh man.
When me and Anderson roll, it's like neck and neck.
Oh
It's-
man.
So
Anderson can roll.
yeah, so it's a fun
What weight class does he compete at?
135 and 145.
So you guys are
He
obviously.
wants to be a 35 because he made 35 so easy the last time because
Same thing, yeah. And Ando at 135, he's a monster.
yeah.
145 is still,
He's
Ando is
strong.
great. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I haven't rolled with him obviously, but just looking at him, he's strong. When he told me 145, 135, obviously maybe before he cut weight, but I'm like, that's a big weight cut. It seems like.
Normally he's low 60s, low or high 50s.
So he's a big 135er.
Yeah. So when he's not in camp, he gets up there the same way I do.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
No, that's good. I'm good. This is awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate you stopping by for sure. And then,
We got to do our locked ins, of course.
yeah, what I keep forgetting is every guest we have on, you're supposed to have a locked in. I'm sure you know about this, but we'll go first. So then locked in is just your prediction. Locking it in doesn't matter what it could be. It could be about Rick and Morty will be the highest rated show in 2018, or you're going to do something, Patriots win the Super Bowl. Obviously, that didn't happen. Along those lines, right? All right, you want to go first?
You want me to go
Yeah,
first?
yeah, you go.
Okay, I always go first. I like it.
Yeah.
All
I was
right.
going to put the producer on the spot.
No. My locked in is, I think it's a good one. I think the UFC Orlando show will be a beast of a show.
Dang.
I don't know, just throwing that out there. You like that wordplay?
I do. I like it.
Okay.
I can see it happening too.
I do. I got a good feeling. It's a hunch. I don't want to get too amped or too hyped on it, but it's going to be a beast of a show.
It'll be have to do a live podcast at the UFC event, huh?
Yeah, Amley got locked into the front. We'll be at the UFC Winter Springs. That'd be sick.
All right, you go, sir.
Yeah. My locked in. I want to fight for the UFC minimum this spring.
This spring?
This spring. April being this spring.
223, April 7th,
Oh man. Okay.
Where is that one?
Vegas.
There you go.
Dave's like he's a UFC book guy. He's like we know all of them.
I want it. I want in.
Oh, I invited you to the house for the UFC party, so if you can't make it because you're in Vegas, I understand.
Well, my locked in will be you will get your UFC shot, and I believe you win your debut. I'm gonna take a step further because I don't think it matters who your opponent is. Like you said, Khabib has that effect where he's been wanting to be champion for so long. I think you've been wanting to be in the UFC and become a UFC champion for so long. It doesn't matter who is in front of you. So I believe you win first round knockout. That will be my locked in. And I'm not trying to put pressure on you. I'm being real because after watching that performance, I was extremely impressed because you have a lot of hype and you live up to it every performance, and that's really hard to do, especially when you're have so much and your last performance was so great. Now what can you do to be better? And you just keep getting better and better. It's just so hard to not think that. So that's my locked in.
Not even that, like, not, I think he doesn't live up to the hype. He literally goes past the hype.
That's what
Like,
I'm saying.
people
And the hype.
You didn't
Okay,
get punched.
drop the mic. We can end up that.
You didn't get punched last fight. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, it's
so
just
it doesn't,
crazy.
it doesn't get better than that. So I just want to thank you so much for coming in the studio, and you're always welcome, of course.
Of course. Hey, Pete White's gym, guys, Port Orange. They have kids classes Monday and Wednesday, 5 to 6. Great gym. Everyone sign up. Mike, if you got anyone else, all your sponsors, Fit Meals, we love you, Dimitri.
It's such a big list.
I know.
It's so hard to get everybody.
But yeah, we just, everyone follow him. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Mike Davis, MMA. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, producer Sean reminded me to make sure I tell about this. So the Locked In community is on Facebook. So the Locked In page, you like it to get the live stream, but the Locked In community is able to interact with us. So if you have questions for you, Mike Davis, myself, Dave, you can reach us there.
Or just want to talk. Like if you don't
Right.
want, if everybody wants to talk about something, talk about the UFC fight, you can get on there and have conversations. It could be content for the
Is
show. We could talk about it.
Conversation straight on the site itself.
Yeah, it's just like
comments.
yeah,
It's like the Pete White,
I'll
like the
post some
private
stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, so we can debate. If you don't like my locked out list, I have referees on there. I have DJ Tremble.
DJ Treble, you're
I
locked
have-
out.
News Journal.
I have the News Journal locked out. So
Yeah.
if you want to get on my list, you can just debate with us.
And
But-
definitely buy a t-shirt, guys. Look at
Yeah.
that locked in tee.
Oh, and you have your Beast Boy shirt, right?
Yeah, you can still buy my shirts.
There you go.
I still have to get one.
The link's floating around. They have 3 different types of shirts you can buy.
I want that American, the stars ones you did on the
Yeah,
New
that
York.
one.
That's
yeah.
my favorite one.
Yeah.
You have the green one, right?
Oh, yeah, of
With
course.
the Beast Boy.
I was like, I
Do you
think-
have a favorite one?
The Mike Davis Casio
Oh.
boxing glove. I actually had to ask
blue?
the custom autos to get approval to allow me to put that on my shirt.
Oh, nice. That's sick.
Getting locked in.
Okay.
So, like everybody, thank you for listening. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcast and Stitcher Radio. And like always, make sure you guys stay
Locked in.
And can we take a picture of us